Hi everybody, this is Crystal. Welcome to my channel. So today I have a crochet tutorial for you. Now this is a very big big shawl, so I don't have a lot of room up here. But it's extremely easy. It's only a 1-row repeat. If you know how to do a single crochet and a double crochet, you'll be able to do this, because it would be great for a beginner that knows those basic stitches. It's extremely beautiful, and it's one of those shawls that's real long on top. A lot longer on top than it is, like, down from top to the bottom. But it's still long like that, but you can adjust and make it any size that you want. Just know that the top is going to be a lot longer than the bottom. So you see that picture there. So it measures from one corner all the way over here to the other corner, about 120 inches. So this is like double wrap a shawl because when you put it on, you can take these two ends like this and wrap them around like a scarf, like twice. Well, I could, like a scarf, because they're so long. It's super pretty. And then I'm sorry, I just don't have a lot of room here to show you, but yes, you can just definitely, you see how long they are in the picture. I couldn't even hold up the whole end. But the bottom was long as well, only because the whole cake of yarn was used. From here down to the point is 42 inches. And of course you can adjust the size and not make it so long. It will make your sides a bit shorter, but they'll still be very long in proportion to, how tall it is, if that makes sense. But yeah, like I said, the stitch is really easy. Very pretty. It's a very pretty yarn. So let me move this here. Oh, it's so light and so dainty. It's beautiful. I'm going to set this here for a second. So the yarn that was used for that particular shawl was from a small business called, I love her, Rena's Thread and Crafts. I love her yarn. I have a bunch of shawls and wraps made out of it. It makes such beautiful shawls and wraps. It's so dainty, so beautiful. I mean, lightweight, airy. This one is her 8-ply cotton yarn. It's a fingering weight. I more think that it's really kind of like it's like a 2-weight. It is 100% cotton. The color is called Rare Amber Gradient. And there were 1,400 yards in the cake, and this was the entire cake. Now remember, it does say that it's a fingering 1-weight, but I will assure you that it is close to a 2-weight. You can see it right there. But the yarn is not spun. If you've never had her yarn, it comes in, it's plied. It's not a spun yarn. I don't have problems with yarns like that, so it's a beautiful yarn. There it is. That's the thickness of it there. But it's a gradient, so it slowly gradiates down. You've seen the picture there. Beautiful. So that was the yarn that was used. But you can use any yarn that you want. You can use any weight that you want, any size of yarn that you want, any fiber yarn that you want. When it comes to any of my shawls, you can use any yarn you want. Like I said, any fiber, any weight, it does not matter. Whatever you choose, whatever you have, you can use. I just always like to show what I use. And for that particular shawl, size G was used, which is sometimes a G is a 4mm and sometimes it's a 4.25. Either one of those will be just fine. Do you guys want to go ahead and make it? It's super easy. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to show you with a different yarn. This is a 3-weight yarn, actually. So as I mentioned, this shawl is worked from the bottom and then it goes up. All right. So you want to go ahead and start with a slip knot on your hook. And we will work a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the first stitch and we're going to work 2 double crochets into that very first stitch. So there's 1, and there is 2. So that will end row 1, and counting that chain there, because we're going to count that chain as a stitch, you got 3 double crochets. Let's go ahead and start row 2. Row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're going to go into the very first stitch, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into the very first stitch. There's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then remember I said that chain counts as a stitch? We're going to put 3 double crochets into the top of that last stitch. So kind of into the top of the chain there. We're going to put 3 double crochets into that one. 1, 2, and 3. And that will end row 2. And now you will have 7 double crochets. Let's go ahead and we'll start row 3. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And again, that chain 1, it doesn't count as a stitch. So we're going to start off by putting 3 double crochets again into our very first stitch. There's 1, 2, and there's 3. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches. Skip, skip, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into the next. So skip, skip, and in the next 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, sorry about my dog, and there's 3. And then again, we're going to skip 2 stitches, skip, skip, and that brings us to the last stitch here, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into the very last stitch. So we skip 2 again, skip, skip, and that leaves us with the 1 left. Go right into it and put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And that ends row 3, and you'll have 9 double crochets now at the end of row 3. Alright, so now we're going to start row 4. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Again, that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Now we're going to start off with 3 double crochets into the very first stitch. Every row always starts with 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to skip 1 stitch, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into the next. So we skip 1 and we put 3 doubles into the next. There's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to skip 1, and we're going to put 1 double into the next. So skip, put 1 double into the next, like that. And then again, we're going to skip 1, skip this one, and we're going to put 3 doubles into the next. And we're coming to the end. We have 2 stitches left. We're going to skip 1 and we're going to put 3 doubles into the last. So the last stitch always gets 3 double crochets as well as the first. That's how the shawl increases on the sides. And that will end row 4, and we should have 13 stitches, I do believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, we're going to start row 5, and row 5 is the repeat row for the rest of the shawl. So it's super easy. You guys got this. Even if you never made a shawl before, if you can double crochet, you got it. So we're going to start off by chaining 1 and turning our work. Remember, this is the repeat row. Chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. We always work 3 double crochets into the very first stitch. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Now we're going to skip 1 stitch, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into the next. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 5. We are going to skip 1 and put 1 double crochet into the next. So we're skipping 1, and you can see there's a group of 3 double crochets here from the previous row. We skip 1, and in that middle one, we're going to put 1 double crochet. And now we're going to skip 1 again, which is the last double crochet of this group of 3. And we're going to be working into this 1 double crochet all by himself from the previous row. And we're going to put 3 double crochets into him. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now you would just, that's the end of the repeat, and you would just keep repeating that until you get your last 2 stitches. So you would repeat again. You would skip 1, and you would put 1 double crochet in the next, which happens to be the middle of this group of 3. Like that. And then you would skip 1, and you put 3 doubles into the next. And you can see after I do these 3 doubles, I'm going to have 2 stitches that remain. What I'm going to do is skip 1 and put 3 double crochets into the last stitch, because the last stitch always gets 3 double crochets. And you should have a total of 17 stitches at the end of round 5. And that is the repeat. I'll go ahead and do it again. But we always grow by 4 stitches on every row. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it again, and I'll try to break it down so you can see it better. Row 6 is just a repeat of row 5. Remember, we're just going to continue repeating this last row that we just did. So we're going to start off with a 3 doubles into the very first stitch. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 1, and we're going to put 3 doubles into the next stitch. So at the beginning of every row, you should have 2 sets of 3 double, from here on out, 2 sets of 3 double crochets. See that? With 1 empty stitch in between. And now we will start the repeat by skipping 1 and putting a double crochet in the next. And if you look at the previous row, it's going to be the middle stitch of this group of 3. When we skip 1, double crochet right in the middle of that group of 3. And then we're going to skip 1 again. And if you look, this little lonely double crochet from the previous row, we're going to skip 1, and on top of him, we're going to put 3 double crochets. And then we would repeat that again. So we would skip 1, this group of 3 right here, the middle one gets 1 double crochet. And then we would skip 1 again, and this lonely double crochet from the previous row, Once we skip this one, we'll be on top of him, and he gets 3 double crochets. And now we can repeat it again. So we're going to skip one stitch. This group of 3 from the previous row. When we skip one, the middle one is going to get 1 double crochet into it. And then we'll skip one again. We're going to be at our last section here. And we're going to put 3 double crochets into the next because we skipped one. And then we'll have 2 stitches that remain. And when you have 2 stitches that remain, you skip one and put 3 into the last stitch. And that's it. We just repeated row 5 again. We just made it bigger. I mean, we just put, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, repeating row 5. So if you take a quick look, you can kind of see that you always have 2 sets of three doubles at the beginning, and you always have 2 sets of 3 doubles at the end. And in between the single double crochets and the sets of 3, they become catty cornered each row. See that? So double crochets, single double crochets on the next row, not counting the the first 3 that we do, but the first 2 sets of 3 will always go in the middle of the 3 sets before. And the 3 double crochets, well, they're always going to go on that single guy from the row before. And it'll just keep getting bigger by 4 stitches every row. So you just keep repeating row 5. I just did row 6, which was just a repeat of row 5. And as you can see, it just got a little bit bigger. And you can make it as big as you want it to be, or as small. The yarn I'm using right now is a 3-weight yarn. But like I said, the yarn that I used for the one that was in the picture was a 2-weight. You use whatever weight you want. It does not matter. But I always recommend that if you use a different size of yarn than what I do, if you want a nice drapey shawl, use a hook or even 2 hooks bigger than what your yarn recommends. That's at your discretion though. That's usually what I do. Most of the time. That's usually what I do because it gives me a good drape that way. See, this yarn that I'm using right now, it's recommending a 4mm hook, which is what I'm using. But as you can see, it's just fine, but it's not going to have quite the drape as this one because I used a 4mm on a 2-weight. See that? See that drape? This one's just going to be a little bit, maybe it'd probably be a little bit warmer. It's not going to be as drapey, but it's going to be probably warmer because the stitches are closer together, and you know what I mean, closer together, a little bit not so drapey. Wrap it around yourself, as opposed to this one's really drapey, lightweight. It really depends on what you're going for. So you use whatever yarn you want, whatever hook you want, whatever fiber you want, whatever color you want. It doesn't matter. And you can keep repeating row 5 until you get it the size that you want it to be. Do remember, I don't know how many rows are on that. It was just used until the 1,400 yards of that 2-weight yarn was gone. And that's the size that it came out to be. 120 inches across and about from top to point about 42 inches. So I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial. Super easy. This is something great, like I said, for a beginner. It's something super fun, easy, quick, for even the advanced. You want to make something nice, pretty, you want to, and it works up quick. This is it. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to see yours. So if you make this, you can show me a picture on my Bag-O-Day Crochet Facebook page. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. And also don't forget to hit that like button if you did enjoy. And you could maybe, if you want, you could subscribe to my channel. I got hundreds and hundreds, thousands of tutorials. Anything you could ever want to make. And multiples of them. Alright? So I hope that you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys on my next video, okay? Take care. Bye, guys.